How long were you there?
Oh, we were there about 1 year, 1 year and a half. So
And it was too much action in that town.
no,
Too dangerous.
yes, it was too dangerous. Nowadays, I can assess how dangerous it was. But then we wouldn't have moved, and if we haven't thought that the armies are coming, I mean, the opposite army will clash together and we'll be in the middle. So let's cross the Arno River and get out of the way. What we did, we prolonged our war for 2 other months, you know. So.
Let me stop. Hang on. Oh, you're not finished.
Sure. You know, the first thing was to eat. First thing in the war. And I used to eat, the army would bring soup. And watching people, the firemen, working to take out the dead people under the ravine. Friends of mine. They were all with open mouth, you know, with full of. That was really. Some of them I remember them neatly. They were about 14, 12 years old, young, very young.
So 2 years in San Frediano?
1.5. Because 43, no, maybe less, one winter, because 43 was the bombing. Then we started, say, in September with San Frediano, it was 43, until 44 July. Then we crossed the Arno River, and we spent the last 2 months in the front line. Until, because the
What
war
about
stopped
what about Nacho?
45.
Nacho, N-A-C-O? N-A-C-C-O? N-A-C-I-O?
What?
Where we were yesterday, by the granary.
Noce, nuts.
Noce.
Noce.
N-O-C...
N-O-C-E. Noce.
And this was after San Frediano, and then how long in Noce?
Noce, say, from June, up until the American crossed the 31st of first days of September.
So just a month.
Then I left with the Americans. I went away until December, Christmas.
So your mother and father returned to Pisa then.
Yes.
And how did you acquire a piece of property? Did you have any money?
No money.
Well, then how do you determine what?
Nowadays.
Well, how do you determine where someone goes then? Where do you set up shop? Where do you make a home?
It was an emergency. The war, the cities were completely destroyed. All the structures.
So you didn't go back to Pisa and say, "Okay, this is my piece of the block."
I went away with the American. When I returned, my parents and Julie were assigned a nice apartment in Pisa together with an old lady teacher, piano teacher. She was of a French origin.
This was an apartment building that remained standing?
Your father was in this building also. Via della Faggiola. Via della Faggiola is near the Leaning Tower.
Oh, so the stuff on the north side of the Arno River was pretty much intact.
Yeah, well, thanks God, it's pretty much intact compared to the southern part. And so they were assigned this apartment. The owner of the apartment was not the lady who's the piano player teacher, was the owner of the old building, a doctor. And we had one dining room, kitchen, small room, and two others bedroom. In the largest bedroom was this lady, almost with the lupus. You know what lupus is?
Yes.
She had a lupus. Yeah. She was assisted by an old lady. It was pretty sad, also. And okay, that I remember my window had a hole like this because a bomb. I wasn't there when so it was funny, but a lot of fun.
Now, you were born in what year?
1929 in February.
And where were you born?
In Pisa,
No,
along the Arno River.
But what's the story of your name? Isn't that because you were born somewhere? Why are you Bubi and not Mauro?
Because I had the two, Primo and Sandro, the two uncle. One was a carpenter, and one worked as a street sweeper. It's just sweep the streets. And I lived in an apartment which was assigned to Emma, the aunt of Nonna Rosa.
Of Rosa.
So on the last floor, you can see that, 4 windows, small windows. And the building, which is a beautiful building, hosted Shelley, the famous English poet. So they, together with Byron, Shelley spent some time here in Pisa and also Livorno, until Shelley died, sunk and was drowned near Viareggio. However, this building, we were saying, I was born up there. In 1929, the 9th of February, was one of the coldest year ever. You could cross the Arno River walking from one side to the other. Thick ice like this. So I was born there. Now, what was the point?
Your name.
Ah, my name is. So my uncle, they were both anarchists. You know what an anarchist is? Nice people, honest, really, very generous. My uncle, Alessandro, was more tough than the other brothers. I mean, he was idealistic, you know. And every time the king would come to Pisa, because Pisa had summer resorts, he was jail. They put him in jail for as many days as the king was staying over. No? So they said the building belonged to a Marchese, Quaratesi, the name, Marchese Quaratesi. I remember they had children, and they would call them with fancy names, like a baby, Bibi. And my uncle said, if he will be a masculine, a boy, we will call him Bubi. And they kept the point up to a certain point, because in the municipality, my father went there and said, Bubi. And they said, no, what is Bubi? It's my son. No. You had to give a name, it was Christian name. And my father didn't know what to do. They asked, are you having a baby, a boy? Yes. How do you call him? Mauro. Okay. This is the dynasty.
And my mom, where was she born?
She was born in Via della Faggiola, where I told you. Look, you're going to get confused. Via della Faggiola, I mentioned you before. I was on the 3rd floor with the piano player. Giuliana and it's a strange also for me. She was born in Via della Faggiola, which is near the house. I told you I could see the Leaning Tower from my room. So she was born there. And she moved. They moved, I don't know why, I don't know why they moved from Via della Faggiola to the Arno River bench up on those 4 small windows, you know. I don't know, but maybe because the contract expired, I don't know. Maybe she had a favorable situation. Of course, the place was beautiful, looking outside. So, she was born in Via della Faggiola, near the Leaning Tower. I was born along the Arno River on the southern part, beautiful place. Then, my father got the apartment from the glass factory, and we went to the outskirts of Pisa. Then the house was bombed, and we moved a little here, there, and then finally we came back where Judy was born. Not the same house, but the same block. That's it. That's all.
Well, I'm not going to take more of your time with the recording, so I appreciate it.